In the last video, we were looking at the problem of evil, and we saw that the problem of evil argument is perhaps valid, logically speaking, but unsound. So the uh, ar argument in a whole, as other words, does not work. But we can take this one step further. Within the argument from evil, we were at one point we were assuming that there is evil in the world, or at least that the Christian view is that there is evil in the world. Well, if we assume that there's evil in the world, we may ask, where does this evil come from? Well, what evil is, as we said last time, is when free-willed creatures, human beings, choose to do what they ought not to do. In other words, they're not doing the good that they should be doing. We're not doing the good that we should be doing. So when we start speaking about good and bad, evil, ought, the ought word presupposes some kind of moral law, some kind of moral code. So if there is a moral law, we may ask in turn where this comes from. And the standard scientific view of where life comes from is there was a singularity, and the singularity exploded in some sense, and the universe has been expanding for 13 plus billion years, and then at some point some dust coalesced under gravitational forces and formed a planet, Earth, and on the Earth perhaps there was some kind of primordial soup, and there's other that's kind of fallen out of favor, but for all we know, that's the best guess that I could come up with, that there was a primordial soup with various chemicals in it that somehow arranged into biological single-cell life, which then evolved into various plants and animals, and the last stage so far in that process is human beings on the earth, so far as we know. Well, in all of this, there's really no place for morality. Physics and chemistry, there's nothing in physics or in chemistry of an ethical nature. Okay, biological life can be, it is supposed, I guess, reducible to physics and chemistry. So biology is just a particular instantiation of matter, a particular form of matter, and a rock can't commit murder, can't commit sins or evil acts. So there really is nothing in nature, it's in and of itself, to explain where morality comes from. But yet there is morality, there is a moral law, so it has to come from somewheres, and we could say therefore that there is a moral lawgiver, and that lawgiver all men call God. So we started off trying to prove God doesn't exist, but we end up with the conclusion that he does. And there are a couple of reactions to this. on the part of the atheist, and one is to say that morality really doesn't exist. It's just the Christian view, which is what was under consideration in the problem of evil argument, which Christians assume exists. Um, well, in that case, uh, what you're denying, if you hold to that viewpoint, what you're denying is that there is a moral law. However, our daily experience, it's obvious from our daily experience that there is a moral law. If I did something unjust to you, you would get mad at me. But what are you getting mad about? If I stole your TV and all your expensive jewelry, you would be upset. But why, if it's not anything wrong, if it's just something, uh, it's one thing to say, well, there's no objective ethics, but it's another thing when something happens to you. Um, so we do know from our daily experience that there is such a thing as justice, as law, as the good, and there are cases around us in the world where that standard is not being lived up to. If we had a child that was uh, molested by somebody, we wouldn't say, well, that that's just what he likes to do. No, we'd say that is wrong. Okay, so yeah, so you can't really deny something that you experience every day. So therefore, you really do have to accept that there is a moral law. And the other uh, view that a person could have, that the first option is, well, that's not what I think, that's just what Christians think. The other option is, I really do think there is a moral law, and those are the only two options. So if the first one is untenable, then you have to accept the second one. Uh, so if you accept that there's a moral law, then it follows from this that there is also a God. Um, so this is kind of a uh, corollary of the problem of evil. Of the examination of the problem of evil. Uh, that not only does the argument itself fail to prove that there's no God, in fact, it actually assumes that there is one, because else where cometh, where comes good and evil.